Hello and welcome. My name is TyrionLanstr. Now for today, I wanted to talk about what we know so far about the new Glorious Battle event. This is of course with Alliance Conquest Season 8 about to come and KVK happening in a matter of hours. I wanted to quickly go through and talk about the new Glorious Battle. Now first things first, I think we should notice that instead of the Valor shop that you have in both Siege of Winterfell and Alliance Conquest, we now have the Token shop. Where have you seen the Token shop before? That would be in KVK and CCS. It is the same shop, has the same cooldown as both of those. So that is what you can expect to be using, what you're going to be receiving. Instead of the Valor points, you should be getting those tokens. Now, when we go to the rules screen, you'll notice that 3 of these pages are disabled: the match description, rewards, and other descriptions. So, keep in mind, 22 days out, there's a lot that might still change, a lot they haven't really finished writing yet, but I wanted to go through the 2 pages that we do know so far, because they're really interesting sounding and a lot of fun. So, starting with the details. Essentially, it introduces the event story. It says that 8 powerful factions, each holding 1 region, contend for prosperous lands and a seat of honor. Various heroes, gathering resources, recruiting allies, and occupying cities, rise to the occasion, swearing to bring glory to the houses once more. Now, I'm not going to read all of these, but I just thought that was a cool, cute line they're using to introduce this. So, 8 factions. Well, what is a faction? Essentially, they explain that a faction is going to be several different kingdoms matched together to form one faction. So I gotta say, it's going to be interesting to me that there are going to be 8 different factions all fighting amongst each other. I mean, that sounds like it's going to be pretty crazy and a lot of fun. But it sort of sounds like almost a combination of CCS in that whole matchmaking bit, but then throwing in a little bit of the KVK, the collaboration between different alliances and different kingdoms. So it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm definitely intrigued to see how they do that matchmaking, but it sounds like it'll be very interesting. So the rest of this page just describes the 3 phases of it, matchmaking, battle, and then results. Interesting that in the matchmaking phase you cannot transfer kingdoms. So unlike in CCS, how people would kind of transfer to get the best matchup they wanted, you're not going to be able to do that in this. You have to stay to your kingdom. And I think that's a good thing to do. I don't like when people are able to kind of pick their matchup. It makes it a little bit unfair. Battle phase. The cool thing that they introduce here is this separate chat that they're going to give all of basically the leaders of each kingdom. So most kingdoms are kind of dominated by one alliance anyway, so I think this makes a lot of sense. But you're taking the king and then the 3 officials, as in the diplomat, the knight commander, and then the financial advisor. Those 4 leaders from each ruling kingdom will be put in a group together to talk. And I'm not sure exactly how many kingdoms it'll be. My guess is that at minimum it'll be probably 3 or 4. I don't really see them doing 2. I think if it was pairs, they would have said pairs instead of several, but who knows? It could be 2. But I assume it's probably 3 or 4. So basically you'll be grouped together, you'll be talking there, you can coordinate, and it'll have your own little war chat room. I think that'll be really fun and a lot of cool, but I'm assuming that one of the alliances will probably be smaller than the others, and they'll probably take the lead in kind of helping the others and telling them what they should do. Results phase is just results phase. Nothing crazy, tell you who won. One other thing I just want to mention here, they introduced this term greatest influence. Essentially that's going to be the new metric for winning. Instead of points, you get influence. And I'm not sure, they haven't really shown us in this exactly what you're going to be doing to gain influence. It just says that you obtain it based on the size and quantity of the cities that are occupied. So it sounds sort of like Alliance Conquest or Siege of Winterfell, where occupying structures give you more influence, but that's all we know so far. So next we have the military positions page. This essentially describes the 3 different roles you can have when you enter the battle. So first, it's important to understand that the primary role that everyone will start in is called the logistic military position. That's the default that you'll be in. You can then switch your position, and when you switch, there's then a 24-hour cooldown before you can switch again. I think that's a great move on their part. You don't want people switching back and forth. Stick to a role, and if you're going to make a change, it's got to be a big deal. But the fact that it is so a 24-hour switch makes it show that it's going to be a long time for battle. They didn't describe exactly how long, but in my mind, it's got to be at least a day if you're going to do a 24-hour cooldown. My guess is probably 2 or 3 days, which is definitely pretty cool and a lot of fun. So, what are the differences between offensive, defensive, and logistic? Well, basically, they have it described here where there's a endurance limit. They're the duties, which is just kind of overgeneralized, and then the characteristic is probably the most important part here. So, if you are on the offensive roll, you get 15% to total stats buff when you are attacking. You also get 30% marching speed and 50% trading efficiency. I think we'll get into trading efficiency in a little bit later. On defense, you get 20% stats, so a little bit more stats on defense, but only when you are actually defending your city. So you only get those bonuses when you're either on offense or on defense. Now, the last one is the logistic role, and that one you only get 30% trading efficiency from there, but you don't get any other buffs other than that. That does sound worse at its core, and I'll explain later what I think the point of logistics is going to be. But to go back to the endurance, this is another new thing they're introducing for us. I think it's probably going to be, they've already described to us that it's going to be the way that you move your troops around and do battle. But if you have more endurance, then you're going to be able to basically do more things. So you get most with defense, a little bit with offense, and then the least with logistic. Here they describe the endurance, like I said, to move your troops, it'll cost a little. To do battle, it'll cost you about 10. And then based on how long you're doing battle, based on how much endurance you have, you will do more damage during that battle. Essentially, anything over 100 will be the same, but if it's less than 100, you'll start doing less and less damage. By the way, I just want to say I think that's a great move on their part. It's going to mean that mega whales are not able to just be the absolute tyrant that they are in certain other aspects of the game. You can't just play through them. Everyone's going to have to be involved, and it's going to probably be pretty easy to maneuver around those big mega whale guys. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm definitely encouraged by that. They also introduced this city affairs, and it sounds like this is almost a shop that you can purchase things in to upgrade your city for this event. Not sure exactly how you're going to, what's going to be available, but there are going to be different shops based on whether you're offensive, defensive, or logistic. They also explain how you're going to earn the points to do that. They call them glory points, and basically you get glory points based on your role in different ways. So when you're on offense, you get them from battles, and you get them from killing troops. On defense, same thing, from battle and killing troops. And then on logistic, you get them from doing those trades that we mentioned earlier about the whole trading efficiency. When you trade, you get basically extra points from that if you are in the logistic role. Then all three of them get points based on construction quests that are completed. My assumption is that that's going to be happening in the city affairs. That's what it's referring to about the different construction quests that you're going to be doing. But we don't really know exactly. That's just kind of me guessing based on what they've told us so far. But it is important to note that if you have an honor token, it will increase the amount of glory points that you're able to obtain from daily, just activity that you do. It sounds like they say that there is a limit. So it is important to note that honor token is going to be an advantage for people, and is all the more reason that people are going to need to have it. But other than that, that's all we really know so far. It's definitely exciting and sounds like a lot of fun. I think that they really have taken a lot of time to try to make this a different type of event that's going to be more balanced, and hopefully will encourage more people to participate. You are going to lose whatever troops die permanently, which will make it a little bit more risky, but I'm hopeful that this will be a good in-between between Alliance Conquest and CCS, where there are real stakes. If you lose your troops, they die permanently, but I'm hoping that it will encourage people to participate a little bit more, just because there are so many different ways to do it. So once we find out more information, I'll be back in your feed soon, but until then, this is TyrionLanstr. Have a great rest of your day, and good luck out there.